Back day today. Today we have the lifting straps, which are great, and we're starting out with the pull up. Now, for me, as I've been transitioning over from powerlifting to bodybuilding, I think I want to use the weighted pull up, or really the pull up, as my compound movement to really help develop the width. So, as you guys know, when you do a lot of vertical movements, they can really help develop what we call the shape, or really the width. So kind of almost forming that Dorito like back or backpack, really. So that's what I'm kind of going for here. I'm really going for, I think for me, doing these weighted as I progress. I do a lot of sets of these, so I think this was like my third or fourth set. And also, guys, we're going to talk about this right now, but the calves are growing. If any of you guys are struggling with your calves, this is a cheat code that I was given. It's 5 sets, 20 reps at the end of your workout on the heaviest weight that you can do. And just keep doing that for months on end and track down the weights, and every time try to progress a little bit, but just pick one movement. And I've been doing that, and there's no way you're going to tell me right now that my calves haven't grown substantially. So that's been really helpful. All right, but back to this. Whenever you do any kind of rowing movement, really bring a strap to your training session. I talked about this last time, and you guys might not see it, but every time I'm using my strap is pretty much glued in. A lot of people don't realize that with the strap, it's the first roll that you get with your strap that you really want to like glue as tight as possible to whatever you're rowing. So next we have the pullover. This is the Nautilus pullover. This is actually the same machine that Dorian Yates used to use in Blood and Guts. So I really like this because it's the really old-fashioned pullover that you get. And when I do this movement, what I'm thinking about is, yes, again, it's a pull over like that, but I'm thinking about more so like pushing down. So I'm really driving those elbows deep into my back. And again, this is one of the few movements where you can really engage a lot with the lat, and your bicep isn't going to be involved. For some people, they actually do feel their tricep turn on a little bit when they do this movement. But for that, I just say, like, again, just really end up focusing on lowering the weight, coming back and refining the movement. And then once you refine it, you really only feel it in the lat. I would say then go up in weight and progress. And I would honestly say that for anything in the gym. Give yourself the ability to really feel the right muscle doing the work. And then once you feel it, progress. So a good teaching cue for that is always form, technique, and then strength, right? So form, technique being kind of the mind muscle connection, I guess, and then strength. As you progress, try to go up in weight, and try to keep all of those variables going. Try to keep the form the same, try to keep that mind muscle connection the same. Next, we have an under grip. This is really like a mag grip row. So when I'm using the mag grip row, I'm really trying to get into that middle portion of my back. And something that I've been doing and playing around with on pretty much all my back days is like every now and then, maybe like on the 6th rep of a set, I'll actually just kind of like sit on the weight. Like I'll just hold it back there for maybe like 2 seconds. So whenever you train, you obviously have tempos. You have the tempo for the concentric, and then you have the tempo for the eccentric portion of the movement. But then you also have this portion where you can pause the weight, right? Where you're really contracting the weight. And I find that a lot of people don't play around with that ability to contract, because people always say, well, studies say that when you're at that point of the movement, there's no more contraction that really happens. But to be honest with you, what I've found over the years is that when I allow myself to just squeeze at the back for maybe even a split second, what that allows for me to do is really to develop a mind-muscle connection. And the mind-muscle connection, maybe in a study, if you tied the muscles to I forgot the name of it, like an EIG or whatever. Maybe for example, it might not say anything's reading when you squeeze at the back. Nothing's really happening. But there is something to be said about really contracting and feeling the muscle and getting a better mind muscle connection. And that carryover effect that it has on the rest of, your your development and your journey in the gym. So I really do play around with squeezing and holding at the top, as you're going to see in this next movement as well. So here I'm squeezing at the top, and I see so many people when they use this machine load up to 5 plates, 6 plates. And I used to do that a lot as a kid, right? But there's something to be said, particularly about back in particular, where sometimes you really just got to squeeze, right? Like in all these reps, I'm going, squeezing, I'm holding for a second at the top, and then I'm going slowly back down. And it's not to say that some sets I won't, kind of get into a rhythm where I'm going like in and out and I'm not really squeezing, but I do like to squeeze, especially on the first couple like sets or maybe the first couple reps, to really give myself the opportunity to like feel the right muscles doing the work. And that's so important. And not a lot of people give themselves the ability to give the right muscles the opportunity to work. So something else too that you can also do is allow yourself to get some feeler sets, right? I think feeler sets are really great and they're really crucial so long as you're not burning yourself out, to really sit there and go like, hey, I'm going to do maybe 1 or 2 or 3 reps where I'm just kind of like feeling the weight and I'm just kind of feeling the right muscles do the work. That is so crucial and that is so important. So give yourself that opportunity to do those feeler sets as well. Something that's really minute here is that if you pay really close attention as I'm doing this, I'm actually changing my hand positioning on each one of these rows. So I'm actually changing, I'm going a little bit wider each row. Next, we're going to the undergrip, mag grip, pull down. I really love the mag grips and also the neutral grip to help when I do vertical rows, because a lot of people don't know this. This also kind of relieves a lot of stress from your elbow. I learned this from Frank Zane. I heard him talking about this. I never really noticed that, but he was just talking about longevity and how he would actually go in this neutral grip. But this neutral / underhand grip also really does help develop the lower sweeping lats and help me develop that shape, which I was talking about in the beginning of the workout. So really going in, squeezing and squeezing every single time. And something too that I've also kind of been playing around is allowing my spine to kind of bend, because traditionally when I do this movement, I like to kind of keep my spine almost like, I guess, flat. But something that nobody really talks about is that you can kind of bend your spine a little bit and get a little bit of a better contraction as well too. So that's something I've been playing around with. Another thing, now we're going into curls. I've been really thinking about when I'm doing my curls, like driving for my pinky. It's a really weird concept to think about. But driving from the pinky, I do definitely feel a different contraction with my bicep. And again, this is the whole point of the series, working on myself, right? I'm kind of just playing around with things and realizing what works for me as I switch over from powerlifting to bodybuilding. So again, playing with the pinkies, but the real big teaching cue here that I've always found is keeping flat wrists. Keep your wrists flat. Flat wrist, flat wrist, flat wrist. Like, don't have your wrists like bending. And then the other thing too that I do play around with is like my hand width. So like if my hands are super close together, I might have a set where my hands are super close together, and then I might have another set where, I'll widen out. I'll go a little bit further out and kind of feel it. Just really trying to tax the muscle from as many different angles as possible and trying to contract as much as possible. Next, we are going into the single-handed dumbbell curl for each hand. And what I like to do here sometimes is I actually like to stay, I'm kind of keeping the range of motion, the range of motion, I'm kind of shortening it a little bit. So I'm kind of only staying what I call like in the pocket. So I'm never like locking out completely, and it's a weird kind of constant tension. It's something that I've played around with a lot in the past and something that I really do like to really just kind of gas myself with out at the end. But that is pretty much it for the video. If you guys found that any of the tips useful, please make sure to like and subscribe. Again, the series is working on myself, so a lot of the stuff is just kind of messing around with things in the gym and exploring. But I will be sure to drop some other videos and some other content for you guys. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I hope everybody is doing well. And see you guys later.